Good evening, everybody, and welcome. We are doing the last homework video of 2019 and the first homework video of 2020, because it's technically still 2019, but a lot of these prompts start in 2020. That's nice and confusing. Okay, so what we're going to try and go over is Cheryl's Weekly in the Daily 30 group, which is a closed group, by the way. You cannot request to join. Sorry.
Don't message Cheryl, none of that.
Yeah. Mythical Stitches weekly homework just got released, and the monthly extra credit is out, so we can kind of figure out what we're going to work on for them and kind of show you how we think about it, how we decide what we're going to work on, and even maybe how we keep organized with how we deal with multiple groups. So we may even mention some of the other groups in explaining. So let's go ahead and start with yours, Lisa.
Okay, so Cheryl's group has got a weekly homework, and it's fortnightly for the weekly. She does the daily 30, which is where you stitch for 30 minutes a day. So we don't really talk about that. You stitch whatever you like. But she's decided to take us on a journey through the decades. Because the decade begins with a 0, we're going to see what they've got. So we're starting with the 20s. And we're going to start with the 1920s. So you've got to do either 200 or 300 stitches on a project to do with the 20s and explain how does it fit in, or 2 or 3 hours as well. You can do a timed option for her. So the 1920s, what do you reckon?
I kind of wish I still had Daggerwing, because she kind of looked like a flapper.
Yeah, she did.
It's part of the reason I picked her.
Ooh, hang on.
While you're thinking, I have already thought about this one, because I'm trying to maximize stitching at the moment with everything that I'm currently doing. I'll find the one I'm looking for. Here it is. And I'm currently working on my amazing magical kingdom, which is this one here. Going to make it bigger. Not getting much bigger there. And the amazing animal kingdom is got this part here with all the animals. So with the amazing animal kingdom, in the 1920s, it was actually in South Australia the wettest winter on record.
Oh, there you go.
Right, and this whole thing, it's got flooding up here that flows down and floods the whole bottom area. So I thought I could use this for the 1920s because it was the wettest winter in South Australian history.
That's a good idea. I like that. Well, I thought I've got Good Morning. I'm going to I would use this for a lot of them, but look at that little dapper guy on the dynamite. And any of those little guys, some of those guys might work too. But that's the Stretching Portraits by Good Morning Maui. She's on Etsy. So, but she's my WIPGO is one of them. Is one of the numbers that got called for that. But that would work for that too.
I think this one may fit for a lot too. Maybe. So, oh, wrong one. Hold on. This one, because Alice in Wonderland came out in the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That works. All right, the next decade we're going to look at is the 1950s. So I'm actually going to use the same project for the 1950s because that was when Australia first sent their troops over to Korea. And in Korea, the animals is Siberian tiger, and the Siberian tiger were heavily hunted in that decade. So there's less of them now than there was before. So I'm going to do that project because it's the 1950s for the Siberian tiger. I thought I'd make an Australian focus because I'm Australian.
I could actually make my pretty little Hawaii work because Hawaii became a state August 21st of 1959.
Cool.
I don't have the full picture done, but that's what I'm working on right now.
Well, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. I mean, it's closer to the 1960s, but
I'm really not sure.
do you have anything
Some of these
Disney?
I think would take a bit of research, and I'm just not sure.
No, I mean, some of them you have to think about. I know one of our
Mhm.
friends had a book she had that was a history of the chronological history of the decades. So there are lots of things. So I don't know. I'm going to have a look. I haven't read through for the other years for me, but so there's the 60s, the 70s, and then the 80s. So do any of those decades jump out at you with any of your projects? I'm planning to see if I can keep looking at ways to include the same project for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I can fit animals into all those decades. Might be when was a particular, when did a zoo have a birth of a baby elephant or something? So I don't know. I'll find something to fit it into those decades.
Right. That one's even older.
Anything else jump out for you, Sarah?
I could actually use the stretching portraits again because the Haunted Mansion was built or opened in August of 1969.
That works.
And let's see, Disney World. Because I know that one opened pretty soon.
I can use Little Mermaid on Fairy Tale Lands for the 1980s.
Yes.
Yeah, that works.
It was in
Okay.
89.
Well, we'll have to work out the other ones ourselves, but that gives you an idea of how those ones work. The other thing with Shell's group that I'm looking forward to that hasn't been released yet is the scavenger hunt,
Yeah.
which is a year-long event. And basically, she's going to invest in 50 items like a flower, and we have to actually go and take a photo of our stitching with the flower, and then do a certain number of stitches on that. And then it's really exciting to do something a bit different. I really like thinking outside the box.
That'll be really cool to see. Yeah.
And one of the things I think is an interesting challenge about it is you're only allowed to work on the 3 WIPs that you've already declared as ones you want to focus on for 2019. So I'm going to go ahead and show you which 3 I have. So you're going to see these quite a bit for me. I'm going to try and make them double dip as much as possible. The first one is a major focus piece this year for me, and that's Alice in a Dolly Dream, because I'm trying to get it finished for somebody. So I feel like she should take more focus than my other hates. Then I'm also working on Forever and Ever by Cottage Garden Samplings. And also, I know it's Too Happy by RETM. Now this one's small because I was concerned we were gonna have to finish something.
Mm-hmm.
And what they've explained is if we do finish this, then we got to declare the finish and declare something to replace it. So I think for this section of my 3, I'm going to try and keep it with small ones so I can try and get a few more finishes in this year.
That's a smart idea.
Well, I can do the same thing. I may have done this before, but since we're doing it, we go here. Oh, that one is one of mine, my Animal Kingdom. And then I picked some smaller ones too, which I stuck to the ones that were my current WIPs in 2019. Oh, there we are. My video screen keeps being right over where I want to put the button. Sorry. My We Are Humans, Sal. Not a great picture, but that one I've got 1/3 to stitch. So there's that one. And now I've lost maneuverability. The other one is my Alice, but I can't get the screen to behave, so.
Oh, I have a picture. I don't have your picture, but I do have a picture of the
Alice?
cover page. Yeah, the
Oh, that'd be great.
Mirabilia.
Thanks, Sarah.
I'm like, I've got that one. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. So
You're
that's my
welcome.
other one, Alice.
She's
So
gorgeous.
what Shell said is when they're outdoor things, you've got to take them with you to take a photo outdoors. So I'll be taking my humans or my Alice to the outdoor ones. And obviously my Haid will be an inside one. Okay, so that's all for the daily 30. But remember, unfortunately, it is a closed group. It is full. There's already 200 or so people in there. And that's all she's accepting for now. If we ever hear any differently, we'll let you know.
All right, so we're going to move on over to the School of Magical Stitches. I'm going to go ahead and start with the weekly. It's pretty quick and easy, and then we'll move into the monthly. So for this, it's a new year. We are now in the Disney theme. We're in our first books for the January is Kingdom Keepers, and the first one is Disney After Dark. I've only read like part of the first book so far. Oh, there it is. But it's really interesting story about 5 kids who work at the Disney park and have to fight, Maleficent and the evil people from taking over the park. So for this first week, we have to pick one of the 6 main characters and choose one of their personality traits to link with our stitching. So we have Finn, who's self-confident and a leader. He's the main person of story 1. Then there's Charlene. She's a gymnast and a cheerleader. Number 3 is Willa, a rule follower, and she's super smart. Number 4 is Maybeck. He argues and is very skeptical. Next is Philby. He's a genius. He's like a walking encyclopedia, always spouting off things. And lastly is Wayne. He's the Imagineer. He's the one bringing them all together, and he thinks outside the box. So from those clues on these people, because we haven't read any more yet, can you pick a whip, and how would you tell a story to get your whip to fit?
Okay, well, mine's easy because I'm going to double dip. And that lovely whip that Sarah just showed to me looks like a very fancy cheerleader girl called Charlene. That's my Alice. Doesn't she look like a cheerleader or dressed up?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm going to work on.
And it's what I'm going to work on too, because
Same reason.
there we go. Yeah. Well, and she's also my New Year, New Start. And so
Right.
I was like, oh, I have 2 of those, but she's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
So
I'm excited to start her.
Go with Alice in a Dolly Dream, because we're going to double dip with Cheryl's scavenger hunt here. And I happen to know that she is very skeptical. She argues. She's kind of headstrong.
Mm-hmm.
So she is going to fit for Maybeck.
And the good thing about this homework is that Mythical Stitches this year, I think, is a lot more about you trying to prove how your fits. It's a lot more about being creative. So someone was talking about, Eve was talking about she's doing Deck the Halls and she wants to finish her Deck the Halls. And it has a snowman in it. So she was saying, how on earth can I get my snowman to fit into this homework? And it's like, well, what's the personality behind the snowman?
Mm-hmm.
Is it an athletic snowman? Is it a smart snowman? Is it an argumentative snowman? So if you can spin the story about what type of snowman it is, then do Deck the Halls.
Yep.
Give him a personality.
Yep, exactly.
So, and I think some of that happened in the Harry Potter, like some of the storytellers that could get really into it and spin a story that was just absolutely believable. That's what we were looking for. And so we're trying to push a little bit more for that this year. Like, include the prompt, get creative, make your piece fit. Because we're not asking you to start a new piece every week. We want to see how you can make what you have fit. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm really excited for this year. I loved the Hogwarts Harry Potter theme, but I think this Disney theme is going to inspire us to be a little bit more creative, I think.
Yeah. Okay, And so that was it for the, I mean, you got to think it starts on the 1st and there's only like 4 days until the new homework. So quick and easy, because one of the other things that we really want you to get into is our team collaboration. So if you're sorted into one of our 4 hotels in the events, there's one called Ticket and Transportation Center. And as you're building as a team, using your stitches, you are building the ticket center to buy your ticket and go to Disney. And then you're going to build everything along the way. So, and so as soon as you open up the ticket center, and I believe it's 20,000 stitches, right?
Yep.
Once you've gotten your 20,000 stitches, then you open the next part. And there's 2 ways to get there. There's, I think it's a boat or a train. So you open those up, and then you've got to go on those. So it's going to be a building all year long. There's so much for us to build. And, but the point is to work together.
And I love that.
Yeah, the collaborative is really cool.
Really, really love that.
Each event is going to have a minimum that you have to get in order to be considered participating, but then you can do more as you have free time to try and hit that goal a little bit faster and get the next thing open. And there's a few other surprises along the way, so you trust me, this is something you want to work on.
And I really like it because the minimum is very achievable. It's 125 stitches on any project you like. So all you do is you go into your resort page. So for example, I'm one of the managers in Boardwalk. So you jump into our page if you've been sorted into Boardwalk. You find the ticket and transportation event, and then you just click there. You put your starting photo, you stitch your 125 stitches, you put your ending photo and how many stitches, and that's all you need to do. Some people will want to stitch a bit more, but if everyone in the group stitched 125, we would get there in a day. Some people like stitching heaps more, but we're not really wanting people to do, oh, I'm doing 10,000 of the 20,000 stitches. We don't really want that. We want everyone to get involved in working together to build the attractions. Because once we finish the ticket thing, as Sammy said, then there's the next one. And your managers, resort managers will guide you through where we're up to.
And like I said, after the ticket booth, you'll actually open 2, because there's 2 forms of transportation you can go to. So then you're kind of dividing and conquering, or you make a decision as a group to open one and then the other. That sort of thing. So yeah, you want to put good effort in, but at the same time, know that there's a lot more down the road.
And as with any of the events, you don't have to participate. Nothing's compulsory. It would be nice if everyone did. And Magical Stitches is open. If you're interested in getting involved, then jump on School of Magical Stitches and Literature, and you just fill in the 2020 sorting questionnaire.
Yep. And so back to, you cannot double dip any of the stitching except for the Outrageous Headmistress event, which is just basically a tally of all the stitches you do throughout a year. So that one, anything that you put in any of these, you can also add to that one, but these will not double dip with each other. So you do have to do like some prioritizing or what works best for you for that day, that sort of thing. So that being said, here are the monthlies. They require you to do 300 stitches for 3 points each on tasks 1 through 4, and then
watch the movie. Watch the movie.
And watch the movie.
Only 2 points. Yeah. So number 1 is stitch on a project that contains something with one of the 4 elements from the books, and that's sun, clouds, stones, and wind.
Okay. Well, my new start is the village. So my first thing, so what'd you say? Sun,
clouds, stone, and wind.
Okay, so I'm going to start with stones because I have stones up there on the pavers, or I have tombstones down the bottom.
Nice.
Okay.
And I'm going to do Pretty Little Hawaii because there are clouds in the sky. And they're mostly done, but there's some clouds over on this other side too.
Well, you don't have to stitch on the actual cloud.
Yep, so it has to be on the, like, it has to be in the piece,
Right. And I'm not going to pull up the picture because you've seen it 1,000 times now, but I'm going to, now at this point, I think it's triple dip, Alice in a Dolly Dream, because There are clouds in the background. There are also
Mhm.
balloons flying, which I feel like wouldn't happen if there wasn't any wind.
Right.
So it can fit for either of those. Okay, the second one. I keep forgetting I'm supposed to be writing this stuff down. So number 2 is stitch on a project with a moon.
Okay, same project for me. Look, there's a moon down in the bottom one. So my new year, new start, I'll instantly get 600 stitches done in it. And I'm going to have to look and see when this was created. Maybe I can chuck it into a decade.
You might be able to. Mine is going, and it actually is across the room at the moment, but it's my Sleepy Hollow Sal from Tiny Modernist. I just have to finish the top part of the drum, but within the full project itself, there are multiple moons on that one. So
I think I was trying to look and see if a couple of the ones I've prioritized have a moon in them, but I'm not seeing one. But I do have, where'd it go? Haunted Mansion that has a big old moon
yeah,
up.
there's a big moon.
And I'm actually done stitching the moon, but it was massive.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, next. And remember, these are all month, not just this week. So
Right.
if you can't double dip, then at least maybe next week or the week after. Task number 3, stitch on a project with something related to a hurricane. Oh, a little background information. So the elements, I'm not quite sure about that one. I'm sure they're in the story somewhere. I don't know what they're from. The stitching on a project with the moon is because when they go into like this dream state, he explains for them to look for the moon to tell if they're in the dream or in real life.
Okay.
Because not everybody's going to read the book, so I'm just kind of
Summarizing.
Yeah, it's actually Wayne tells Finn when he's talking to Finn first time when Finn's first in the dream, and Finn says, "Am I dreaming? Like this can't be real." And Wayne says, "If you look out the window, see that moon there? When you get home, like when you wake up in your bed, look out the window and you'll see it's exactly the same moon in exactly the same location in the sky." So he knows that he was actually awake in the park because the moon was exactly the same.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay, and then and the hurricane. So the evildoers showed up during a hurricane, like a massive hurricane blew where it shouldn't have blown, and that's what caused the evil to start taking over.
Makes sense.
So something related to a hurricane.
Okay, well, I'm thinking, what do you reckon? If I use my Animal Kingdom aid with the flooding that happened in South Australia, flooding from a hurricane.
Yep.
Double dip.
Well, in my pretty little Hawaii, because they're called typhoons, but they're still a hurricane. They're the same thing. So
Y'all make this look so easy.
I was going to say, that leaves Sammy who
I'm
has
gonna get a lot done on this girl today, this month.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like sometimes I have a chance to pre-plan, and sometimes I purposely don't, because then you get to see like how the brain's working.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I definitely didn't at all.
I have to admit, in honesty, Sammy and I, even though we've been doing these videos and everyone comes to us for advice, we've not had enough time to plan our lives for 2020 yet. We're just lying by the seat of our pants trying to finish 2019.
Well, I think everybody's excited for 2020, and they're like, "Oh, let's get 2020 going," and it's like, well, we still have a couple days left. But it was like when everybody was asking to get things released, it's like, well, we've got. Hang on, just
and
take it.
I like to be organized, but I actually like to go week by week because I like to be told what to stitch, but I don't want to have it signed, sealed, and delivered for the whole year. That on the 28th of May, I'm going to stitch. I mean, I don't mind that for a couple of days, but
yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be doing this, and then the next week I'm going to be doing that. I want some choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and things change. You know, somebody talks you into starting something new and random in the middle of the month, and now you want to work it in. Things change. So yeah, I'm doing some planning, but also just what's relevant, just what's coming up.
Right. Or you
So,
finish something too. That might happen.
so I think I'm going to go with the dreaded
Oh,
legendary
that lovely one.
alphabet, but it's because this guy here, he's like a water dragon, right? And
Yes, he is.
so,
Yep.
you know, but also this guy, he
I
lives
was
in
about
the
to say you have a kraken right above him.
But those
Yeah.
above your water dragon, those clouds could be hurricane clouds.
Yes. Yeah. So I feel like, well, and even Nessie over here, she lives in the water. So
Mhm.
we're taking the water aspect of hurricanes, and even his like little bit of torture over here, like that's probably what a
Right.
hurricane would do to a boat also.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And
So-
Sammy, 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to the bottom, so that's all good. All right. Number 4, something related to the ride It's a Small World. And this is actually a really fun part of the book, where the people on they're riding the It's the Small World ride, and the characters are coming to life and attacking them because the evil has overtaken them. So
That's like my biggest fear.
Vicky said it was actually pretty scary for her when she first read it. So it's something she absolutely had to include in the extra credit for the month. So what is something related to It's a Small World?
For me, Pretty Little Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because that's a part in you actually go through Polynesia and Hawaii, and there you go.
And for me, it's quite simple. It's going to be the We Are Humans, Sal, because they're a whole bunch of little people just like those dolls in the ride.
There you go.
And they're from all around the world too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Triple dipping happening all over the place.
Yeah, and that kind of makes me want to use Alice again. You've got the swans that are floating on the water, just like you do when you ride the ride. Alice is a person.
But are you going to get bored if you have very minimal projects? Do you need a variety of projects?
I might. So my other option there would be, I'll write them both down just in case.
There you go.
World postage stamp.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for
We're
sure, because you
traveling
got
all
the little
over the world.
people on there.
And those little people down the bottom. Yeah.
Look exactly like the ones on the ride.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Cool.
And you hit all those countries, too, in the ride.
Right. Okay, last
You can
one.
organize all this, Sammy.
Give me 1 second. So the last thing is we're going to do a showcase every month, and we're going to go to different countries in the World Showcase, and the first stop is Canada. So you can watch a movie, either Bambi, Fox and the Hound, Meet the Robinsons, or Brother Bear, because they are all related to Canada somehow, some way. And Canada's our first country. So me personally, I think I'm going to try and watch all 4, because I've got Disney Plus, and why the hell not?
Exactly.
Well, I know why not, because I'm always on virtual stitches and I don't have time to watch movies.
There's
But
that.
all 4 of them will be good to watch for my children. Quality mummy children time.
Mm-hmm. The only one I will never watch again is Fox and the Hound.
Yeah.
I love that one. It's one of my
Oh,
favorites.
Oh,
see,
too
and that's
sad.
my
Too
oldest.
sad.
It's his favorite too. And but yeah,
It's
I love Meet the Robinsons. I love Brother. I cry and sob at Brother Bear worse than I do at Fox and the Hound. But I can't watch Fox and the Hound. And Bambi's fine. But yeah, Brother Bear and Meet the Robinsons for sure for me.
Oh, I loved it. I watched Meet the Robinsons every day for a while after it came out.
Love it. It is one of my favorites. Love it.
And I
love
was
it.
an adult, you know. So.
I still cry at that one too. I sob. But I'm just a big baby, so.
So I had a couple questions on when we have this many groups, and we have a ton more that we didn't even mention today, and they'll be in future videos, but we're running low on time tonight, is how I keep them all straight. So the first thing I do is when I sit down here with Lisa and I plan, I'm going to have a sheet that looks like this, where I write down, I have like little codes for each of my groups, like Daily 30 is D30, School Magical Stitches is SM, Semi-Sane SSS, and I write down the prompt, what I think I'm going to use for my project, usually in pencil because things change, and the stitches and when it's due. What I will then do is each night when I sit down, I will take that sheet and decide which ones I'm going to work on tonight, because I don't want to be switching 10 projects a night anymore. I just want to work on one each night and get it done throughout the week. And I have another sheet somewhere in here that has these little triangles. So when I sit down to stitch tonight, I'm going to write semi-sane, I'm doing this. School Magical Stitches, I'm doing this. And then I'll just check it off as I go. So I'll take a minute each night to gather my thoughts and go through it that way. And then I also have several sheets in front of it of things that are going on throughout the year. And I'll just kind of flip through those. Can I make any of these fit, and add it to that small little list, and try and only look at this much, because sometimes when you're trying to look at this much, it's too overwhelming. And I've even prioritized my groups. I've said, if I can't do it only but this much stitching today, first I'm going to look at daily 30, and then I'm going to look at the School Magical Stitches, and then I'll look at this group and this, you know, and that way you can break it down a little bit and give yourself some breathing room.
That
Make
sounds
sense?
good. And Sammy's done some great planner pages, which are really helpful for getting organized, and other people have been doing them too, and it's really good. But the main key is you do need to have some sort of a planner. Some people like it electronic, others like it on paper. I'm old school. I like to have the paper. I jot down my stitches every day. And because I only started restitching this year, and I only really got into it in about February, March, I don't have a total of stitches for the whole year, and I wish I did.
Right.
Right.
So, and we have 3 more minutes before we get cut off. So I did want to say semi-sane, they have the serial stitchers going on, but the signups have closed. So you'll get to enjoy us playing that, but there's no more participation as of yet. The Choose My WIP, I think, is almost done for the first week, but you can join them for the second week. You put up 2 WIPs. Everybody likes this video or that this picture or that picture, and then that one is the one you work on for the week. Do we know of any others that are like imminent?
There's nothing else weekly. Like obviously the full coverage Fanatics and the semi-sanes, you know, Stitching Around the Worlds, and the
alphabet soup.
The alphabet soup, which is a letter every 2 weeks, I believe, and the Stitching the National Parks. So they all kick off on the 1st of January too. So there's a lot of things starting in the next few days. With that, I haven't mentioned one of my new starts on the 4th of January, along with lots of the virtuals. We're starting Amy Stewart's fairy tale bookshelf, Once Upon a Fairy Tale bookshelf. And that hasn't actually made it into any of these homeworks yet. So it's definitely going to make it into some of the others, because I'm going to be doing some stitching on it, even if it's just like 300 stitches or something. But it's going to get done for at least 1 day before I go on my cruise.
Right. So, well, that is it for us today. We, I know this one's kind of weird. It's in the middle of the week, because with the first being on a Wednesday, it has kind of messed with things, and some people were getting anxious to see something, because we've been kind of taking a break during December. So it'll probably be Saturday, Sunday sometime when we get another one up. That's right before you leave, right, Lisa?
Sunday's fine. My Sunday.
Yeah.
Your Saturday.
Okay. Right. So we'll get another one up around then. And then I'm going to have to find some other people to co-host with me while she's gone.
A week without me. Oh my goodness. Have we done a week without me yet?
I think maybe one.
Maybe one. I think we've done 2 without you. But yeah. I don't know. We're a team. We need to be together.
I know.
And thank you, Sarah, for joining us.
Yay!
You're welcome.
We love our special guests.
Yes. So we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.
You gotta turn it off.